In this video I'm going to walk through how you can customize your toolbars up here. So if there's certain buttons, icons that you use a lot and they're in a submenu, things like that, you can move them around. So IGEMS does give you a lot of power to do that. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility and the potential to do great damage. So do you want to be careful when you do this. And I'll show you where the toolbars file is saved. So if you go to, in this case here, we've installed IGEMS on our C drive, programs x86, IGEMS R2020, and then under this LSP file, there's this file here, default toolbar.lsp, which creates your toolbars here. So this is all written in the Lisp language. So if you are going to do this, always a good idea to make a backup copy of the default one here. So just to kind of show you, if I were to totally mess this up and I just change the extension to this, so anytime that you change this, you'll need to restart IGEMS. So we'll just go ahead and restart this, and we'll see here now we get this warning because that default toolbar file can't be found. So if you do totally screw something up, you can always reinstall IGEMS and it will then reinstall the original version of the toolbar here. So I'll just go ahead and rename this. So before we do this, we're going to go ahead and just make a copy of the default one in case we do totally mess up. And we'll just paste that in there. So that's our backup copy here. So you will want to run Notepad++ in administrator mode. If you run it in normal mode, you go to save, it'll give you a warning that you need to be in administrator mode. So we'll just start in administrator mode anyways. So I'll just right click over here and run as administrator. And then we'll go ahead and open up that file. So that's, again, this location here. Here's the one we're editing. There is also a similar file for the 3D 3x or 3D 5x environment in IGEMS. It's the same concept. They can edit through that one there. But we'll be doing the 2D version here. So this is what the file looks like. Fairly straightforward once you've become comfortable with the context of the language here. So basically here, I'll slide this over here so we can kind of see side by side. So this first area here is, and let me restart IGEMS so I get my default toolbar back. That looks better. So this one here would be this pull down area here. So you can see we have the new command, and under there, under the new command, you have the option to do new and templates, which would correspond with these two selections here, and then so on, the open command, and then you've got submenus under that. So as we scroll down, then we'll see we get into creating the CAD toolbar. And then under there, you've got, in this case, undo and redo and submenus underneath the that area there. And same thing as we get into the draw command. So, and then you scroll down, you've got your different modules that you might have purchased. So these are the different modules which correspond with data exchange, tools, sign maker, and so on. So first of all, we'll take a look at is how to change shortcuts. So at the end of each of these commands, you'll see there's either this here, which would be a shortcut, or if it's nil, then there's no shortcut. So if you want to modify a shortcut or you want to make a new shortcut, you can change whatever's on the end here. So for example, if on the Cam tab, I wanted to make a shortcut for edit, whereas right now there is no shortcut. If there is a shortcut, as you hover over one of these icons, you'll see there's a little help image that shows up there. So if you want to do the create command, it's you press 1 on your keyboard. This one here doesn't have a shortcut. So what I'll do is I'll just do a Control F and I'll do edit and search until I find what appears to be that button, which is this one here. So we have a button on the tab that's called edit, and that's the image. I'll show you where those images are saved, and then this is the command that it runs, and right now there's no shortcut. So if I do want to make a shortcut for that, so I'm going to do Alt plus E, so put it in quotes. So I'm going to press the Alt key and then E, and that will be that new shortcut. So I'll go ahead and save that. And then, now right now, of course, it's not going to recognize that because, again, I have to restart IGEMS for it to recognize that. And now if we go onto our Cam tab and hover over our Edit button, we now see that Alt-E is the shortcut for that. So that's how you can make or modify a shortcut, so any of those can be changed as you see fit. So then there may be icons on here that you never use. If you don't have a machine with taper angle control, then this icon here you would never use. So you can also make icons totally disappear. So if I look for TAC/lag or -lag, let's see what comes up here. So this is the button for, or the line for this button here. So if I don't want it there, so semicolon will comment out a line. So rather than deleting it, in case you ever need it back, you can just put a semicolon in front of it, and then that button won't show up. So we'll go ahead and save that. And now we see that that button's gone. You can also move icons into a submenu. So if you don't want to hide it, but you want to tuck it down into one of the submenus, you can move it over in the file here. So if you have a machine with one head, you're never going to use the tool setup button here. So in this example, I'll show you how I can move it down into the parts submenu here. So again, over here, we would search for what we think the text might be for that. So we'll try tool setup. That wasn't it. Let's just search for tools, see what comes up. And of course it is going to be right after where we were, because that's the one we're on with the taper control, and there's the tool setup one. So if you want to move it into one of the submenus, so these ones down here are all going to be ones that are in the submenu of parts, so you can stick it down here somewhere. So for example, if we want to put all the way at the bottom of that list, so this is the last one that's in that submenu there, this tool define, which is this one here. So we can copy this line here, or just Control X, and then click down to here, Control V to paste it in there. Indents or whatever don't matter, but I'm not too crazy about the way they indented this file. You can kind of go through and straighten that out if you wanted to. So GRP is going to put it in one of the submenus there, so I'm going to change this from tab to GRP. And then we'll go ahead and save that and close that so we can see. And now if we come back here, so now our tool setup button is down here at the bottom of the list. And then similar fashion, if there's a command down here that you use a lot and you want to move it up so it's more easily accessible, you can do a similar type thing. So for example, on the CAD tab, if you use the array function a lot, you can move it up here. Of course, I should also mention that you can add items up here to the quick access toolbar, but sometimes it's also nice to have them visible here in the toolbar. So if you did want the array function easily accessible up here on the quick access area, any of these commands, you just right click on it, click add to quick access tools, and then it's up there. But if we want to move the array button up here, so maybe somebody who's not so familiar with all these buttons up here, it's more visible, we'll do that now. So we'll come back to here again, and we'll search for array. And that's just a help file, so I'll just keep searching here. So here is the array function. Again, we can confirm that that's what it is because it's after the skew command, which is right up there. So again, we'll highlight this and we'll do a Control X, and then we're going to stick it after the copy icon up here. So we got rotate and we got copy. And we'll put that there, and we'll change the GRP to be tab, and we'll save that. just confirm that we haven't screwed anything up. And now there's your array button. You can also move buttons around that might make more sense for your workflow. So this create sheet button here, for me, doesn't make a lot of sense having it be between selecting machine and material, because usually the next thing you're going to do after you select machine and material is create a part. So I'm going to move this so it's more over towards this end of my toolbar, where I would more typically be creating a sheet to nest it onto. So we will go ahead and search for create and see. So there'll be a few of these, I believe. See how many there are. There's 22 creates. Let's see if I can maybe create sheet. 0 matches. I guess that's not it. So we'll just, of course, we can also go through, since we know kind of where we are. We can let's see, yeah, here we go, right here. So it's in the CAM tab. We got the select machine material, and then we've got the create sheet line here. So I'll just go ahead and Control X, and I'm going to move this onto the process tab. So I can just scroll down a bit here. So we got the parts, we got the toolpath area, we've got the order command, and then the process command. So we're going to put it before that. So let's just slide this over here a little bit. Just going to go full screen here. So I'll just go to the beginning of this line here, paste this in, and let's see, we don't need to change that. Tab's good, we'll leave that like that. Go ahead and save. And now that's moved over there. Now that just moved the button. If I want to move the entire basically tab here over to there, then I probably should have done that. So let's come back here. And with the wonders of undo, I can undo that a couple times. Stick it back to where it was. Okay. So if I want to take that entire thing, because there was the sheet submenu under that, then I can select both lines, and we'll Control X both of those lines and come back down to where we were. And we'll save that. And that looks better there. You can also do something like you can move an icon from one tab to another tab. So for example, if you on the Tools tab, you've got the icon here to import a DXF or DWG file, which is also of course on your IGEMS main menu here in this area here. But if you want to have your icon, your import icon on your CAM tab, because again that more matches with your workflow, we can do that. So we'll go and find the import icon. Alright, so that would be this one here, or it's also going to be on our Tools tab. I'm going to copy it from my Tools tab here, just in case. So we'll take this, so you see the shortcut for that is Control I. In this case here, I'm going to copy it, so it's going to remain on the other tab, but I'm also going to put it on my CAM tab here. So after I select machine and material, then I'll go ahead and have my little import icon. And let me see if I also have these over here. Yeah, so I did also screw up on my sheets because I didn't get these other ones that are related to the sheet here. So all these ones here I should have copied over to my sheets. This is always nice when you do the backup here, but this here, these are all sheets, and then we get into creating a parts. So let me go ahead and grab these and copy those down to my sheets submenu. Which was down here. Okay. So meanwhile, so we got our import up here. We'll go ahead and save that. Alright. So I've got all my sheets submenus back there, and then over here now we've got our import icon here, and it is still back here on our Tools tab. You can also do things like rename icons. So over here we've got process and process, which might not make sense to have two things named the same thing. So I'm going to rename this one process settings, and I'm going to rename this one make CNC. So since with that, we know basically where that was because we were working with that with our sheets area. We come down here. So here's the one that makes the button for the process command. So if you want to rename it, that would be in here. So if we want to call this make CNC, we can do that. If we want to rename the submenu, we can do that here. So we'll go ahead and save that. So now we've got make CNC and process settings. You can also reorder your tabs if you rarely use the CAD tab, because most of the time you're taking in DXF and DWG files and you typically go straight to the CAM tab. You can have it so when IGEMS opens up, the CAM tab is the default one that comes up over here. So I'll just zoom out here a little bit on this so we can more easily see what we got here. So I can basically just grab the whole CAM tab and drag that up in front of the CAD tab. So over here, let's close that so we can see here a little bit better. So this is Tools tab, and up here we've got the CAD tab, so we're going to move it in front of that. So we'll just look for CAM. Alright, so it's basically this module here. So the nice thing about the Notepad++ is it will look at these parentheses to figure out what is all joined together. So there's a big if statement. It says if you purchase the CAM module, then it's going to put all these buttons here, and if we scroll down, then we see that that goes all the way down to this parentheses here. So I just want to grab that whole thing. And I'm just going to do Control X. And I'll go up to the top here and Control V and Control S and restart. See if I've totally destroyed everything. So there, now our CAM tab comes up first. You can also change icons. So in 2020 they've changed a lot of the icons, make them look a little bit more modern. I personally struggle a little bit with the explode icon. I like the dynamite. You can change icons to older icons. You could create your own icon if you wanted to. Just have to make a PNG file and put it in the proper location. So all the icons are going to be one level up and down from here. So we go up to R2020, and then you go into the res subdirectory. And then you have this folder here for toolbar images. So you can click on that, and then you can see all of the current images. So, and to do what we're going to do, we're going to end up needing to close IGEMS. And so first I'll go find the icon that I want to use for the explode. And so we'll go up to actually into 2019, which I've still got here, and into res, toolbar images. And we'll scroll down and look for the explode, or I could search for it. Oh, there it was. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go back into 2020 into res, toolbar images, and when I go to right click and paste, if I don't close, it's not going to let me do that because IGEMS is open. So we just have to close IGEMS, and then we should be able to right click and paste it in there. So if you do want to replace the existing, you can do that, or we could have made a copy of the default one just in case we ever want to go back, but I know I'm not going to want to use the other one, so I'm just going to replace that. And there's our new icon. Now what you do want to do is create a copy of this and paste it in here, because if you do update IGEMS, this will get overwritten again with whatever their default is. So I'm just going to make a copy of this. I'll just do Control-C, Control-V. So that way if I update IGEMS, I can just very easily come in here and change that back. So now we've got our old explode icon there. A couple other final things you can do here. You can change the order of these icons that are in your quick access toolbar. So as you go along and you add icons up here, they might become out of order to maybe the way that you use things. So if you do want to change that, that's in a slightly different location. That's actually in your shared folder location. So typically your shared folder is going to be on C, program data, IGEMS, software, IGEMS, blah, blah, blah. That's my 19.0 version. If you ever have any question where your shared folder is on your CAD tab, if you go to the System submenu, click on Shared Folder, and that will bring you to your shared folder location, because your company might have your shared folder on your network drive somewhere. So here's my shared folder location, and it's actually one level up from here. Up here we've got our quick menu, so this is what controls the sequence of the icons that are up here. So similar fashion on editing this, you can just double click on this, comes in here, and then so this one here you don't have to be in administrator mode, but if you wanted to change the order of something, you want the distance command to be somewhere else, you can just paste it in there, save it, and then again restart IGEMS, and that will have moved. So that's moved. And then one final kind of fun thing that you can do is if when IGEMS starts up you want your company logo or some image to flash up on the screen for a moment, you can put a PNG file into the res folder and call it splash.png, and then that image will show up when you start up IGEMS. So if we go up to R2020 and then into the res folder, I can basically grab a PNG file, call it splash.png, and put it into this location here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here. Alright, so now when we restart IGEMS, we should get the Axes Automation Group logo there. So finally, once you've got everything the way you like it on your customized toolbars, you should make backups of that. So if we go one final time back into our Lisp area here, I can sort by modified. So here's the one that I just made. Here's our original backup copy. So I'm going to make a copy of this and paste it in there. And I'm going to rename this just so I know later which one is which here. We'll go to rename, and I'm just going to call this my copy. So that way the next time I go to update IGEMS, it will default back to the IGEMS default toolbar, but then I can just come back in here and rename these and get my toolbar back. So if you have any questions on any of that, let me know. Thanks.